Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, looking at Alpha 3.8's roadmap today. This update is planned to be live for the end of 2019. It's likely to fall around mid to late December, and this one does contain some of the more exciting things for the year. Star Citizen Alpha 3.8 has some pretty impressive ships planned for it. The Anvil Carrack, mighty exploration ship, probably one of the favourite ships that backers want in the game at the moment. One of my favourite ships. It is basically a small corvette and has a little bit of everything. There's also the Asperia Prowler, which is the Tavaran boarding ship and will represent the sort of like gold standard for any other Tavaran ships that appear. It's an interesting one because that might imply that it's going to be used in Squadron 42 as well, getting it out then. The Cutlass Blue Police/Militia Patrol variant of the Cutlass Black is going to be in there, and the Hull C. So the Hull C also brings together a load of tech that sort of like needed to come together to make it. So this is multi-physics grid tech, dynamic ship morphing, ship-to-station docking, and some cargo changes that all allow that ship to literally be spawned, add cargo to it, and I suspect there's going to be some updated cargo bits and bobs for it as well, so that cargo can attach to its spindles, and yeah, so you can spawn it, and then it can contract and expand as it's supposed to, because it can't actually land unless it's contracted. Weapons-wise, we have the Lanka pneumatic pistol and an Electron shotgun. For ship weapons, we have the Sledge Mass Driver revision and rework. Salvage version 1 now sits in at 3.8 comfortably, hopefully, as well as allowing players with suitable ships to be able to strip materials from a ship's hull. The system was designed to allow players who are on foot or in a ship. The player will be able to scan the environment to find salvageable debris. Once harvested, unrefined materials can be sold at a kiosk. This is going to be the first iteration we have of salvage, and very basic, though as we saw with mining, CIG are capable of having very good first iterations of these major mechanics. Planet Microtech is planned with this patch too. The planet has areas of frost and snow, so lots of new types of biome that are more planet-based. They'll be a lot more various, but also Nordic forests and interesting fields. So we will see lots of different plant life. We will also see New Babbage, the landing zone there on the planet. Enclosed to protect its inhabitants against the elements, New Babbage is a major social and economic trading hub. Despite highlighting Microtech's flagship store, the landing zone is a haven for other smaller tech companies as well. So lots of interesting shops there, basically. This initial implementation may contain limited traversable districts as well. The planet has 3 moons, Calliope, Clio, and Euterp. All of these areas will have new biomes, missions, outposts, and other elements to populate their surfaces as well. Again, at New Babbage, there is a new mission giver, Eddie Parr, and we will also see the Microtech clothing collection that will be purchasable in ships there, but also be worn typically by the inhabitants of that area. In addition to those new locations and content, we have refinery space station facilities that refine ore into usable materials for industry, trade, and crafting. These will be vital to the economy in-game and will have players moving around a lot more, as refineries will be some of the only places that you can buy and sell certain goods or make the most money from your mining expeditions that you've been doing, stuff like that. So it should really affect the economy. There are also going to be unoccupied versions of them, and from the 3.7 patch, unoccupied cargo space stations too. So positioned close to planets and jump points, these depots are the first port of call for haulers and cargo ships, and they can be used to create trade routes and delivery points around the verse, typically found in less travelled locations. These unoccupied variants have limited or no facilities, so we're going to see derelicts, but they might not necessarily be fully derelict. They might have pirates in them or for missions and that sort of stuff as well. So lots more mission-based stations around the verse, lots more little areas that will be like, oh, I found a derelict station. This is pretty cool. And they should be persistent there. For some of the AI stuff, there's FPS Combat Behaviours V2. So this is going to give us varied and believable combat behaviours for enemy AI to adopt in battle. The AI will not only use a variety of weapons to create different combat situations, but will have different ways to engage the player, whether in groups or solo. This task also includes creating varying levels of combat training and skill sets for specific areas or situations that the AI might find themselves in. And for flight AI, there is functionality for veteran or ace level combat pilots. Beware! Behaviours include decoupling, ship loadout based behaviour, or cleverly using the environment in their tactics. So just much more difficult AI to fight, boss level AI, the Vandal that fly the glaives sort of thing. Some more of the gameplay systems that they're adding. So they're adding a dynamic mission system that allows missions offering locations, rewards, and other parameters to be dynamically dictated based upon guidance from the back-end simulation and player actions, which in turn enables a more systemic universe and content tailored dynamically to the environment. This will really have the economy, have the missions, have player actions, and generally what NPCs are doing really affect each other. Now, when it's sort of like first iteration, it's only really affecting a single server at a time, but you should start to see the more people do a certain type of mission, or if there's a server overrun by people that are just being outlaws, this should really affect what is happening in that server to a reasonable degree. Also, there's a feature listed as mag boots, which aren't really mag boots, allowing players and NPCs to traverse a surface in 0G as if it's normal ground. This will be accomplished by using the thruster pack on an EVA suit to simulate limited artificial gravity, allowing players to walk on walls and in areas without gravity. This is combined with the ability for the player to traverse surfaces in 0G by pushing and pulling with their hands as well, whether or not you have an EVA jetpack. And those EVA jetpacks will probably consume fuel, so you might be a bit caught short. Seated item handling is also in, so this is the ability for players and NPCs to use smaller weapons while seated in a passenger seat of a vehicle or ship. So you can literally use your guns that your character's got on them. This will mean that vehicles with no weapons can at least have a bit of firepower, and the passenger on the rear of Dragonfly can fire, for example. But also it's just sort of sensible. It allows players a little bit more interaction when it comes to vehicles. They are also adding a security system which controls who has access to areas and objects based on various factors such as reputation, ownership, keycards, and factions. It will automatically issue warnings to people breaking the law, and if ignored, will flag them as criminals to security forces. So this might be like if you are in a major city. You're in a major city and there's sort of like cameras and people everywhere. If you commit a crime, obviously in front of everyone, the sort of system will go, you're breaking the law, and send some people after you to try and get you before you escape or whatever. So that very much ties into reputation and law, but it also sounds like it does touch on permissions for ships and for areas and potentially people's persistent habs in the future, saying, well, yes, you can also enter this hab and it's not going to be a crime, or you can also go onto my plot of land, which is an outpost or whatever, in land claims, things like that. Ship-to-ship docking will allow typically smaller ships to dock with larger ships while in space, but it's essential for the game now. It'll be good to see in 3.8. Also, Vehicle HUD version 4 is coming in. This is just improvements to the HUD system to support advanced scanning and pinging features, including the storing of results and an interface to adjust the strength of scans. But expect general vehicle and ship HUDs to get various improvements and scanning and pinging in general throughout the year. So that's what's currently on the roadmap for 3.8 and until the end of 2019. However, they did state that these roadmaps were planned a lot less aggressively for scheduling than before, and that we may get a few extra features in that will be added on the roadmap if it becomes appropriate and they feel they can get them in. There is also a few things that they might keep back for surprises that are coming to patches throughout 2019 as well, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Full persistence is not on the roadmap currently, but they did recently say they wanted to get it in this year if possible. Also, Crusader, Gas Cloud Tech, and Urizen at a push. Those are obviously important locations and things for the standard system. They were mentioned to be trying to get them in again this year if feasible, but again, we'll have to wait and see to see if that makes it. What do you think of the 3.8 roadmap? And for the features coming throughout 2019, Do you like the focus on the more core mechanics and getting the Squadron 42 aspects in the persistent universe polished and working and that sort of stuff? Or are you disappointed by the low amount of new gameplay loops? I think a lot of people are going to be really happy to see the Carrack in game. It's certainly one of my favourite ships. I'm also very much looking forward to Microtech and salvage. Give me salvage. Oh, I've been waiting for salvage for so long. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway for February. It's for a Cutlass Black and Star Citizen game package. All you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. If you don't have a gaming PC yet, or you are upgrading, instead consider Shadow Cloud Gaming. They allow you to leverage the powers of the internet to stream a high-spec Windows 10 environment to any other PC, Mac, or device like a smartphone or tablet. It is working really well in Star Citizen's 3.4 branch, and be sure to use the code BoredGamer if you do decide to check it out to get a discount. Links below. This channel exists because of its community. If you wish to support the channel further, below there are links to Patreon, Subscribestar, and there's the YouTube channel memberships, literally the join button below this video. VIPs do get some exclusive stuff and early content as a thank you as well. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or just want to say hi, please drop a comment below or poke me on discord.gg/BoredGamer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.